Today we have to discuss Love Island USA Season 7 for the very last time. We are free after this conversation.
You say that.
We're free. Well,
sure.
I mean, there's a little bit of emo in everyone. I'm sure it'll be one of them. But
there's definitely not like a reunion coming up.
God.
Not being hosted by Andy. There's not,
You did just tell me that before we started recording, and I forgot already. All right, so we're not free completely, but we're free from this season that was. There's still more to come, I guess, but
we'll never be free. Expecting to be free of Love Island is like expecting to be free from sociology as a study. It's everywhere. It's actually inescapable. There's so many parts of this show that we will never, ever be free from, that we will never escape from. Certainly not within the next decade, in my opinion. I think we'll be feeling the effects not only of Janae, Kenny, Leah, and Miguel, but also of, and sorry, no disrespect to Serena and Cordell either.
The winners.
The people who won. But I think we'll be feeling the effects of Nicolandria, Huda Chris. I actually think I think we are free of Pepe and Iris for the most part.
Pepe is probably already left. I saw that Iris was hanging out with TJ in LA or something already. I mean, it made sense. They were a friendship couple, obviously.
Yeah, he's off to to newer, blonder horizons.
Oh, no. Do you think he'd like me? I'm a blonde.
I mean, I prefer he didn't.
But you said he likes blondes in distress, so.
Yeah, are you in distress right now? Blink twice if you're in distress.
I blinked
182
times. All right, let's get into this. So we got to cover the family visits and the finale, of course. So with the family visits, I thought it was actually so delightful to see all those men cry when their families came to visit. Not out of cruelty. It was just beautiful. And like even Shelley's whole comment to Brian about not crying like a baby or crying like a real man. I thought that was really nice.
Again, the real man thing drives me insane.
She might have not said real man. She might have just said man. But yeah, I know you hate when Huda says that. We all do. I still don't know what the definition of that is. But I liked that Shelley turned it around as to what a real man is. Not one that eats all his breakfast or does multiple pull-ups or...
But if Huda actually... I know you just said this, but if Huda said, in response to the family day, I really enjoyed seeing a lot of grown men cry, I feel like I'd actually be like, wow, I understand you so much better. Yeah, I feel like I would appreciate it.
But she wouldn't. We know that. So on family day, we were finally able to see Olandria meet Nick's mom and sister, who are stands of their relationship. That was awesome to see. Even just seeing like Brian and Amaya's families be able to mingle together, that was beautiful. Chris looking for any out he could get from his sister and mom. That was so beautiful to see.
Yeah, also smart women not saying anything. Like, because like, for better or for worse, you know what happens to you on the internet if, Yeah,
I don't think they were speaking from their heart. When they gave him advice, but they were protecting themselves and possibly him from the backlash of the hood rats.
Yeah, I know we're saying it's dangerous while saying things about Huda, but like we're not on national TV saying this stuff.
Yeah, I ain't scared either. Yeah. And then who are we missing? Iris and Pepe. I kind of noticed that they look alike during their family visits. I don't have much more to say after that.
It is giving surprise incest.
We were talking about like they need to look through their family trees to make sure. But I noticed they have a lot of similar features, and even like Iris's face looks kind of like his mom's face. Anyway, I'm digressing a little.
Yeah, that's a lot to unpack.
But anyway, it was really beautiful to see their families meet, and I think that it did help a few people see a future with others, whereas with other people, it kind of just demolished any chances of the future. I mean, others meaning Chris and Huda. Also, Huda's sister should have been on the show. She's a baddie. She was funny. Seems completely emotionally sane and intelligent. But anyway, I'm digressing again. So what I also thought was great about the finale was that Brian and Amaya closed things off.
No, they did not cut things off.
They closed things off, and they didn't lose.
I was actually really excited to see them just, like, obviously, of course I want them to win, but, like, to know that the curse is 100% foolproof would have been amazing, just to see, like, oh, yeah, sorry. Unfortunately, you guys are not even fourth. You're just gone. It's time for you to leave the island.
Yeah, like, So the pattern of closing things off. So Sierra and Nick were first. Obviously, Sierra, we haven't talked about on the show, but she
I mean,
vanished. We don't need to.
I don't think them closing it off just like made her,
it was
say slurs back in time.
The curse occurred starting with them, and then after that, Taylor closed things off with Clark. Bye. And then Ace and Shelley closed things off, and they were voted off. So it was cool to see that the winners closed things off. They weren't affected by the curse of closing things off.
Yeah, I mean, was that cute as what we aim for?
Try
nice.
it.
But I see a lot of stuff online about like Ace becoming a victim of the system that he created and yada yada yada. Mm. I'm still on just like he's 22 and he's entertaining. Like I'm not too mad about that. I also still there's a big part of me that strongly believes that Yulisa, whether production knew about her past behavior or not, was really meant to be the villain of the show. And then when you're a show without a villain, I mean, you see like, it's like apparently there's like a lot of stuff on her social media and TikTok now about like, I don't want to say unapologetic, but like,
I literally didn't even like give her apology the time of day to listen to it. So I don't know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Yeah, that's fair. But it seems like she's the type of person who was going to make a mess in the villa and be like, so what are you going to do about it? And that's I mean, I don't want to say that's like a good villain, but you know what I mean? That's your villain character. Now you don't have that. And you gotta, I mean, Huda tried to step up, but I think a lot of America wasn't ready for that. And then
I think Huda was trying.
I genuinely do think Huda was trying her best not to be evil.
Yeah.
This season. I do believe her behavior is genuine. It is concerning, but it's not necessarily
genuine for sure.
Yeah.
I will say Huda made history being the first couple ever in the finale to break up. We have had couples break up during their last date. We've had couples break up before the final.
Never on their final date. Isn't Chris also the first?
No, they have done it on their final date in the UK.
Okay.
I think it was like season 9. Someone's done it, but it was the finale that made it so sweet. I mean, that date in itself was historic.
That's amazing. Just the worst. It's going horribly, and then we're like, let's bring a third party into this to sing. That's honestly, to me, an incredible creative choice. They knew that was going to happen too. Guarantee Production absolutely knew that they were not going to make it that date or that it was going to go bad.
Oh man.
Moreover, I also can't believe that like Chris, I think this is a tweet somewhere, but like Chris being what has to be a record, at least for Love Island USA, first man to make it to the finale of Love Island USA against his will is pretty stunning.
I was surprised he didn't just self-evict, but
it would have been the right thing to do, I guess.
I'll say on their date, the champagne was truly the star. Chris pouring it for himself, Huda going back and getting it. I was like, on top of the singer, of course.
The lake or the river or the water, the body of water was also a huge star.
Huda couldn't run because it existed, so that was nice.
That was good. She couldn't escape, and Chris, even if she could, wouldn't help.
And then I also enjoyed him asking why she was crying. After Chris is a smart guy. In my opinion,
let's hear it.
He knew that he was going to be a villain in Huda's eyes if he broke up with her. So he made her break up with him. And then he also, the way that he came back to console her essentially, but then still not give her the signs that there was still an opportunity there by not picking her up. I think everything about that was pretty wise.
Here's where I do feel for Chris, aside from just like, like the whole thing he went through in the bed, yada, with like the counting, which I guess we'll probably get to later. I don't know if there's even going to be time.
No.
So it is important to consider what this looks like from his perspective. And if you think about the information he was getting, so he has his experience with Huda, right? Which is like, the 3-2-1, like, the coercive use of her own emotions and affection, yada, yada, yada. But
so you're talking about when they were in the bed and she poked him a bunch and then was like,
you better cuddle me. And then she said like, I'm going to be mad about it tomorrow. Or like she used an insanely manipulative. But especially when he was just like, I just want to go to sleep.
Numerous times.
But he's getting that from Huda. He's seeing his experience, or he's seeing like, hey, like I feel like this is a problem. I don't think we're working out. He meets his family, I believe it was his sister and his mother, and they said they were both like, "Oh, we like her. We think this is going good. Y'all are good for each other." So they're saying nothing but nice things. Now we know probably why, but you know, maybe they just genuinely like her. Who knows? I don't know them that well. And then he even goes to Brian, and he's like, "Brian, we're having like I think it was out on the dock. He's like, I'm having all these issues. You know, I'm really worried about
right before their date.
Yeah, right before their date. And then Brian's just like, just make it work, man. Like no one is telling him like, hey, yeah, there's a problem here. No one is telling him like you're allowed to break this off. Just end it. Like if you're not happy.
Brian's advice I agreed with to an extent because it's their last date. He essentially has to go on it to spend another day in Fiji. So yeah, just try. But it's not like he's like, try to continue this out of the house. It's just like, just try to have a good time this one last day. Get to the finale. You're my boy. I want to see you at the finale, so try.
But it explains to me why he'd want her to break it off, too. Just on the why he'd want it to be her decision. Not even out of like the online backlash or anything like that, but just like, hey, everyone else is saying this is great, and I'm just unhappy.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, and of course I'm not saying it's like okay to just like push that, you know, labor off to someone else or anything like that. But it is, you know, it is very sad.
So sad. And then I thought it was interesting that after it all happened, Huda, when she reconvened with the girls, was like, I changed. I didn't yell during that dinner. Like, first and foremost, he had nothing to yell about, but she thinks that's what changes. But I will give it to her. She did say that, you know how Chris put it in her hands to end it? Mm-hmm. She said she ended it because she didn't see the foundation that was needed for them to pursue a relationship, knowing she has a daughter, knowing that they don't live in the same... I'm giving that to her. She saw something that was wrong. That was obviously evident. They don't have a foundation.
She was basically strapped to a chair like the dude from Clockwork Orange. Her eyes held open with basically Chris playing a projector in front of her, being like, "We are not going to work out. This is never
what do you want to do?"
And yeah, then she if it wasn't for the fact that it was so very much the right thing to do, I would almost say she made that decision under duress.
That is true.
I understand how sometimes you make a decision, then you spin it to
but she still thought about it and had a good answer for the reason she made the decision. So I'm giving it to her.
Sure.
We should also talk a little bit. I know you could go on for ages about this, but Nick Galandro, we have to talk about them. I know you're staying.
I don't know what I'm going to do. What am I going to watch? What am I going to...
Their chemistry was on point. I don't care what anybody says, but in that last episode, I mean, Nick grabbing Alandria numerous times to kiss, like, they have something.
He looks... Did you see she started, like, drowning a little at the end?
Drowning?
Yeah, like, you know, obviously it's reaching, but, like, you know, she jumps in the pool, and I guess there may have been a mobility issue with the dress or things like that, and literally she's, like, sort of floating, and then she goes down and her arms are up. And then
see that.
Nick just teleports across the pool.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that.
So
that's cute.
You know, Nick doesn't play about Alandria.
And they're sleuthing. I also saw that he's not following Beldasha or Sierra on Instagram. He's following like everyone else. So he also made sure he's not following romantic connections from the villa, which I think shows respect to her.
I also don't think Alandria would care.
She might not, but
I mean, she maybe.
But again, there's a lot of things that I don't think she necessarily cares about. I feel like Nick just goes out of his way to please her, which I like and love.
Also fair,
respect,
also valid.
And then of course you got to talk about Brian and Amaya. I just love how educated this couple is. They're both so educated. They have real jobs, which is so nice. We don't know if they're going to keep them because obviously Amaya is now an international star. She's the Shakespeare of our time. Who knows if she's going to stick with nursing? But you did tell me earlier what she's doing with her.
I had heard, this is not validated. But I've heard that there's some talk about like her and Brian giving away the money, yada yada yada.
That would be so sweet.
But also like, and this is certainly not
they don't need to do that. But
yeah, this is also certainly not to take away from that. This is more to take away like from the kind of the impact of the $100,000 prize. I'm of the opinion everyone who made it to the finale. One is effectively a winner of the show, right? An extra 50 grand per person, which after taxes is like 30 grand, is not really like, it's important and it is very helpful money. But when you compare it to what all of them are going to be getting in terms of sponsorships or like everything they can do to make money on social media, etc., I feel like it's really a drop in the bucket, relatively speaking. And that makes the will they won't they at the end of like, is Brian going to keep the money? Like that makes it feels ridiculous. Like, why do we even do that anymore on the show?
Because someone has taken it in the past, so why not?
Make it happen.
No, I don't want them to change more of the recipe, Eric, please.
I mean, just raise the stakes. They can afford it. Like,
yeah, they can raise the stakes. That's fine.
Yeah, like, just like, again, like, just like make it $500,000. Like $500,000.
They
like,
should, yeah.
I think at this point, that's just adjusting for inflation compared to when Love Island started.
They should. I don't see it happening. I mean, all of the shows I watch with the monetary prize, they don't adjust it.
Like, they should. Well, Big Brother did. That's a big one.
Big Brother's the only one.
That's like the biggest one. I mean, that's
yeah. And I guess actually the challenge kind of does. Sometimes they reduce it, but sometimes they do increase it.
You know what? I think that should also be a thing. I think I think there should just be a disclaimer like to the cast, like
if your season sucks,
it's going back down to $100,000, and like just. You hear that at the end, and
no, because I don't got more tryhards. I think that too many people were too self-aware of the popularity of the show, and I don't want that. We disagree on a lot here because I have been watching Love Island USA and UK, and I know the recipe. I don't want them changing it. I think they should go back to the original recipe and not start making more modifications.
Yeah, I think that change. I've heard this one before. Although I was impressed. If I'm not mistaken, Amaya sounded a little surprised that there was a prize at the end. Like when I think it was when Ariana goes $100,000, she goes, "Ooh," which
that's just our little exuberant queen, though.
I really like. It's probably not true, but how do I say it? She probably, like, there's almost no way she went into the show not knowing that there was a prize at the end. But there is a big part of me that just wants to believe that she, like, woke up that day just like, I found love and I win. And, the only prize is just America likes me the most. And that's it,
I hope so. I hope she gets everything she wants in life. I also, when I was looking into, like, their backgrounds and making sure that we tell the stats of their education, like Amaya is a cardiac nurse, and I was looking into her background and saw that she did a little like of an influencer thing a few years back, where she was also trying to offer and lend advice to other people going through that same program, ways to pass I can't remember what the exam is, but ways to pass that. She was offering advice for that. And then even Brian, multifaceted. He's a real estate agent, bartender, financial accountant. He also attended Harvard Business School's Summer Venture and Management program. So these are two very highly educated people. Lost my train of thought as to where I was going with that, sorry. But when I was looking into her background, I also just thought it was super cute that she has like vlogs that you can look back on that show how authentic she is. Like her personality has always been like this. That's where my train of thought was. If you find her YouTube channel, you can see that she's always just been someone that's excited about life, wants to help people. I know a lot of people equate her personality to being ditzy, but we saw so much good advice being given by her to other Islanders, which is also interesting. Yeah, she's just such a great person, and I'm so glad that she won. Even though, we did vote for Nicolandria. Actually, technically,
there's a clip somewhere.
I guess I could include.
I know. I've done a big one when I turn around and I literally just see the camera instead of consolation.
Maybe I'll include it in a short or something. But
I double tapped by mistake. My phone wasn't loaded. It was like lagging while I was trying to vote, and so I accidentally, against my will. Just like Chris getting to the finale, I accidentally voted for Amaya and Brian.
So thank you.
And so we swapped the vote. So then Monique voted for.
I was probably going to vote for Nicolandria, but when you voted,
that could have been the difference.
When you accidentally, one vote.
You never know.
When you accidentally voted for Amaya and Brian, something felt right in the world in my personal universe. I gave
So
you my
then
phone.
you should have voted for Amaya.
Technically, I did.
Oh, there you go.
I gave you my phone, and you voted like I would have, or you would have.
There you go.
So we swapped votes. Everything's fine.
It all
worked out.
I was distraught though. I could not believe I had done this.
Yeah,
I was so upset with myself. I was so ashamed. And then I just turn around and I see Monique with the camera.
Because you were so distraught. Sorry, I should have helped you.
Enjoying my pain.
All right, well, that's all I had for these chains that have been broken for Love Island. Family visits and finale. Do you have anything else?
I'm excited for the reunion. Here's what I will say. Huge Nicolandria stan. I was pretty upset about all the different ways we added outside commentary to kind of their world on this episode. I personally don't even think that Nick's mom and sister should have even said Nicolandria.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh my gosh, they can see that and perceive that before the season's done or before the season's over.
But we couldn't vote anymore, so it's fine.
It's not. It's just. It just feels. You know what I mean? It feels like it's like
what we're seeing on screen.
It's like tampered with. You know what I mean? Same thing with like them getting fan mail on the beach. Like that to me was just like, of course. Like if there wasn't a reunion, I would be grateful for that because like you do want to be like, oh yeah, what is their reaction on screen? Yada yada yada. But we're gonna get a reunion, and that's when we're gonna get everyone's perspective after suddenly being connected to reconnected with the outside world out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
do you remember who hosted the reunion last year?
I
don't.
I just assumed it was Ariana, but you're right.
I feel like it was like Nick Viall.
It cannot be Nick Viall.
I can't remember though.
Nick Viall is not.
No, there's no way it was
another reunion.
I don't think it really was. But all right, thanks for joining. I know you don't.
Fired now.
Yep, you're fired. Get out of here.
I'll see you all at the reunion.
We're talking about Music Excite next.